All right, so today let's unpack something really intriguing.
Okay.
You've given us some fascinating sources about the Hierophant tarot card
Mm-hmm.
and its connection to water alchemy.
Right.
And it seems you're really interested in how this card
Yeah.
can help us unlock like a deeper understanding of the mystical and transformative
Yes.
properties of water.
It's a really rich area to explore,
Yeah.
especially since so many people just view water as like,
Right?
the simple physical element.
Yeah, just basic, H2O.
Exactly.
Right.
But your sources suggest it's so much more than that. It's like a conduit for energy,
Wow.
for memory, and even for spiritual connection.
That's where water alchemy comes in, right?
Yes.
But before we get into that,
Okay.
let's break down the Hierophant symbolism a bit.
Okay.
Okay, we've got the triple crown, the keys,
Yes.
the hand gesture.
Right.
All these things are pointing towards like spiritual authority
Hmm.
and seeking knowledge from like established
Yeah.
sources.
Right.
The Hierophant is not really about like blazing your own trail.
Oh, what is it?
It's more about connecting to a lineage of wisdom,
I see.
whether that's through mentors or traditions or, established systems of belief.
Okay. So more like a structure, like a
Yeah.
framework.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And one source even mentions how ancient cultures
Okay.
really viewed water as sacred.
Oh, wow.
Like they had all these elaborate rituals and ceremonies,
Really?
and they saw it as like this powerful force that was connected to the divine.
Huh.
It's fascinating how many cultures across history,
Yeah.
from like the Egyptians to the Celts,
Right.
they all developed these sophisticated water rituals.
Wow.
They recognized the power of water not just to sustain life,
Right, of course.
but to cleanse and to purify
Okay.
and to connect to this deeper spiritual reality.
So how does water alchemy fit into all of this?
Oh.
Is it about tapping into that ancient wisdom and
Yeah.
those ritual practices? Water alchemy, as your sources describe it, is about actively working with water's energetic properties
Okay.
to facilitate personal transformation and spiritual growth.
So it's like really hands-on,
It is.
not just theoretical.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that water isn't just this passive element,
Yeah.
but a powerful force that we can actually interact with and learn from.
Okay, so it's not just about admiring these ancient rituals from afar.
No.
It's about understanding those principles
Yes.
and applying them in our modern lives.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And your sources suggest several ways to do that.
Like what?
Well, for example, like researching ancient cultures and their water rituals
No.
to see how they viewed and utilized water's unique properties.
So like really diving deep into the history.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
One source even suggests incorporating structured rituals
Okay.
into your own personal practice.
Okay.
Like using chants or prayers or specific symbols.
She could almost take those ancient concepts
Yes.
and give them like a personal touch.
And that's really where the Hierophant's emphasis on tradition
Okay.
meets individual practice.
I see.
It's about honoring the wisdom of those who came before us,
Mm-hmm.
but also finding ways to integrate that wisdom
Yeah.
into our own unique journeys.
Wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got like this framework of the Hierophant in this concept of water alchemy.
Yes.
And now we're going to start looking at how to actually apply it.
Exactly.
I'm really excited to keep going with this.
Me too.
It strikes me
Yeah.
that this connection to tradition
Yeah.
is really central to both.
Mm.
The Hierophant and water alchemy.
Yeah.
Is that why your sources
Yeah.
also emphasize finding teachers or communities
Yeah.
to guide us in this practice?
Yes, it's incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Water flows and collects, right?
All right.
It constantly seeks that path of least resistance.
I see.
So similarly, in water alchemy, seeking guidance from experienced practitioners allows us to tap into this like collective well of knowledge
Mm-hmm.
that's been flowing for centuries.
It makes sense why try to reinvent the wheel when there are
Right.
people who have dedicated their lives to understanding these
Exactly.
subtle energies and techniques.
And it's not just about learning the how-to
Right.
of water alchemy. It's about deepening our understanding of water's sacred wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
its role in different spiritual traditions,
Okay.
and how to respectfully integrate it
Right.
into our modern lives.
So it's about approaching this practice with a sense of reverence,
Yes.
and respect for those who came before us.
Absolutely.
It's not just like...
Yeah, it's not like a trendy self-help technique.
Exactly.
It's rooted in something much deeper.
Yeah.
And that's where the real transformation happens.
Yeah.
One source mentioned
Yeah.
specific practices like performing sacred water blessings,
Oh, interesting.
which goes beyond just saying like a quick prayer before a meal.
Okay.
It's about consciously imbuing water with intention and then using it in a mindful way.
That sounds really powerful.
It is.
Almost like you're creating like a ripple effect
Right.
of positive energy by working with the water's inherent properties.
Precisely. And there are so many ways to explore this.
Oh, wow.
Another source suggested studying
Oh,
water's sacred role in different cultures.
okay.
Not just like reading about it,
Yeah.
but truly immersing yourself
Okay.
in the mythology, the symbolism, the rituals
Oh, wow.
that have been passed down through generations.
So it's about seeing water through a new lens.
Yes.
Recognizing its multifaceted nature.
Exactly.
And how it connects us to something much larger
Right.
than ourselves.
And that's where the Hierophant's message truly resonates.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that the divine isn't something separate from us.
I see.
It's woven into the very fabric of existence,
Wow.
even in something as seemingly ordinary as water.
So it's about finding the sacred in the everyday,
Yes.
the extraordinary in the mundane. And it sounds like mentorship is a key part of that journey.
Absolutely. Seeking out teachers or joining communities
Okay.
dedicated to water alchemy allows us to share experiences,
Right.
learn from each other's insights, and deepen our practice in a supportive environment.
This has been such an illuminating conversation.
It has.
It feels like we've barely scratched the surface
I know, right?
of what water alchemy has to offer.
Yeah.
But what really stands out to me
Yeah.
is how much emphasis is placed on connecting to tradition, to finding guidance,
Right.
and ultimately to seeing water as this sacred element
Exactly.
that can facilitate profound personal and spiritual growth.
And that's ultimately what the Hierophant is all about. It's about recognizing that true wisdom isn't something we invent on our own,
Right.
but something we inherit, cultivate,
Yeah.
and pass on to future generations.
So as we wrap up this part of our exploration,
Okay.
what advice would you give to someone who wants to start exploring water alchemy and connecting with the Hierophant's energy in their own life? It feels like we've been given kind of a roadmap
Yeah.
with all these suggestions for exploring water alchemy,
Right.
but for someone just starting out, it might still seem kind of daunting.
It's true that diving into a new spiritual practice
Wow.
can feel overwhelming at first.
Yeah, for sure.
But remember,
Yeah.
the Hierophant encourages us to seek guidance, to learn from those established structures.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to become an expert overnight.
So where would you suggest someone begin? What's like a practical first step to connect with water alchemy and the Hierophant's energy?
One source emphasized that water alchemy isn't about rigid dogma.
Okay.
It's about developing a personal relationship with water.
Okay.
So start by simply observing water
Okay.
in its various forms. Notice how it feels,
Okay.
how it moves,
Yeah.
how it interacts with its surroundings.
It's almost like a mindfulness practice then.
It is.
Bringing awareness to something we often take for granted.
Exactly. And as you become more attuned to water's presence, you can begin to incorporate some of the practices
Okay.
that we've been discussing.
Right.
Maybe try like a simple water blessing
Okay.
before you drink a glass of water,
Yeah.
or spend some time meditating
Right.
near a natural body of water.
One source suggested researching different cultural traditions.
Yes,
Could that be a starting point as well?
absolutely. Learning about how other cultures have viewed and interacted with water
Yeah.
can provide some really valuable insights and inspiration for your own practice.
Right.
Just remember to approach these traditions with respect
Of course.
and a genuine desire to learn.
It's about finding those threads of wisdom
Yes.
that resonate with you and weaving them into your own
Right.
unique tapestry of practice.
And remember, the Hierophant reminds us
Okay.
that true knowledge is meant to be shared. So don't be afraid to connect with others
Right.
who are also exploring water alchemy.
Yeah.
Share your experiences.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Learn from each other's journeys.
So as we conclude our deep dive today, I think the key takeaway is that water alchemy,
Yes.
guided by the Hierophant, is a path of continuous discovery
Right.
and deepening connection.
It's about recognizing the sacred in the everyday, honoring tradition,
Yeah.
and ultimately transforming ourselves through our relationship with water.
Beautiful. And with that,
Yeah.
we encourage you to continue exploring
Yeah.
this fascinating path.
Absolutely.
Seek out those whispers of wisdom. Find those ripples of connection.
Yes.
And allow water to guide you
Okay.
on your own unique journey of transformation. Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep diving deep